Hey y'all, it is I, Delight, of the Delightful Days channel. Today's topic is regarding how most men are operating at a low battery level. They're drained. I remember when I was 12 years old and I first got introduced to these videos and the content that we all know today. At first, it's exciting, right? It's very exciting. Your dopamine's going crazy and you feel like you struck gold. Unfortunately, that 12-year-old brain of mine had no idea what was in store for him. That kid grew up to be an addict, and it's taking a lot of effort and a lot of willpower to stop. And obviously I'm not alone in this. Apparently that age, 11, 12, is a very common age for guys to get introduced to the videos, the content. And it's unfortunate because you're entering your teen years, and when I was a teenager, I always wondered, why am I so sad? Why am I depressed? Why am I so sad? And I never knew why. I could never figure it out. It never occurred to me that the masturbation, the consuming of adult film content was the main culprit for that. And that's a lot of years wasted. You waste a lot of time. And it's suicide. It's self-harm. Masturbation is self-harm. We're not taught that, though. Of course, there is always the notion that if you'll masturbate, you go blind. Now, that's a little excessive, but I think they had a point. I think they are right in some aspect. I did go blind, but not literally. I went blind in all other facets of my life. In fact, I became so blind I couldn't see that masturbation and the content did all that. Made me into a person I didn't want to be. Made me into a person I did not respect. And when you're engaging in those activities, you don't respect yourself. You're hurting yourself and you have no idea. But of course, that was in the past. The only thing you could do now is learn from your mistakes, learn from your past, and use it to grow and do better. So that's why we do SR. SR is the new counterculture. And it's a beautiful thing. However, I don't even think 1% of guys are doing SR. If I had to guess, I think it's more like 0.01, maybe 0.001% of guys are doing semen retention. Especially long term, which is what I'm aiming for. Ideally, I'd like to do this for years. That's not to say I won't have sex, I won't be intimate with a woman, but I'm just not gonna masturbate anymore, watch the videos, and release. For what? It's too big of a cost. You experience 5-6 seconds of pleasure, and then you feel like crap for a week. You feel like crap for a month. Especially as you get older. The older I get, I realize it's vital to preserve this energy. It's like it's mandatory. If I'm 27 right now, if I do if you keep continuing down this path, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder because the older you get, you're more set in your ways. So I figure while I'm still relatively young, it's time to fix this. It's time to solve this and eradicate this forever. And is it easy? You know what? I was at the gym today. I did chest and triceps. Pushed myself, went hard. And there were a lot of beautiful mamacitas today. I'm not even gonna lie. And they had nice, shapely bodies, let's be honest. But you gotta stay focused. You gotta stay focused. The old me would have been triggered by that and went home and probably would have relapsed already. But I have a better understanding of how that isn't gonna help my life. And for me, it's like, what do I have to release for? It's not gonna help my life. Like I said earlier, it's too big of a cost. It's a detriment if I release. Because then you gotta build back up. And that's the thing. This takes time. This practice takes a long time to reap the benefits. Because you're going through the alchemical process, and this is not easy. This is not for the faint of heart. But I truly believe that I didn't choose this. Oh, of course, I'm choosing this life, but it found me. I found it, but it also found me. And it found all of you guys. But the thing is, this has been practiced for thousands of years. And it's not in the mainstream. Why is it not in the mainstream? Why would it benefit the powers that be if most guys were full of their strength, full of their vigor, their vitality, their confidence, their radiance, their swag? Because that's what it is. I realize, like me, guys, I'm going back to college in a couple weeks. When I had my streak earlier this year, which was like 38, 39 days, firing on all cylinders, I was able to socialize easier. I had the light in my eyes. Of course, the female attraction was there, but that's not the priority. I had some tranquility inside, and I was less focused on money. I was less focused on material things. When you release, you're part of the world again. You become of this world once again after you release. And that's the world, and this is where we live. You know, we live in a civilization, in a society that places money, status, looks above all. Now, don't get me wrong, looks are pretty important. But I think it's impossible for a man to be quote unquote ugly if he's retaining. It can't happen. How can it happen? What can be more masculine? What could be more attractive, more invigorating, more empowering than the man that is retaining his most abundant life force? That's peak. So we just gotta keep going. Like, I'm day 5. It's not shit. But I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a lot better than being day zero, of course. And I think it's essential to stay sober on this journey. That's my opinion. I've tried because I smoked marijuana for years after I got out of the military, and it did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. The high that I enjoyed started turning on me. It started betraying me. And it just doesn't, it's not serving my personal development, my self-growth. So why do it? Sobriety, semen retention, working out, eating. I was gonna say eating clean, but I don't eat clean all the time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like scarfing down junk food, but I do like to get the drive-through sometimes. I do like me some chicken sandwiches, and I like me a decent burger. All right, but semen retention is the key that unlocks everything. I remember before me embarking on SR, I'd try to do good habits like go to the gym, meditate, stretching, and it's like, how come this isn't working out? Why am I not feeling good inside? And I was missing the piece. I was missing the most essential ingredient, which is paramount. And you have to which is preserving your masculinity. When you preserve your masculinity, you're aligning with your nature, your inner nature, which is a man. And on top of that, your spiritual nature, because the semen is such a powerful substance. There's nothing like it. Weed can't. You could smoke as much weed as you want. You could take as many psychedelics as you want. You could do all the hard drugs you want. It's not going to compare to the innate powers that this has on your vessel. And if you're trying to change your life, how are you going to do that when you're operating at a drained battery, at a low battery? Even your car. When your car is close to empty, it doesn't drive as well as a car that has a full gas tank. Do you guys notice that? Even the oil. When you're due for an oil change, your car is not going to drive as well as a car that's completed the oil change. So that's pretty much it, fellas, people. Just continue the fight, continue the resistance, because that's what we have to do as men. We have to resist this. And for me, especially, for a lot of other guys, this is actually very easy for them. There's people that could do semen retention. Oh, okay, very easy, very easy. Me, because I've been addicted to it addicted to, the content for so long, everything has to be on point. If I skip the gym, I'm gonna probably end up relapsing. If I smoke weed, I'm probably gonna end up relapsing. If I eat bad, I'm probably gonna end up relapsing. If I lay down and I'm on my phone, I'm probably gonna end up relapsing. If I entertain lustful thoughts, I'm probably gonna end up relapsing. So everything has to be on point. Everything has to be squared away for this to work out, for you to succeed. And I remember I tried to do the SR while smoking. That never worked. I would always relapse at some point. Even when I achieved my highest streak, I was completely sober. Completely. And it was awesome. It was really cool. So with that being said, that's pretty much it. Don't live your life from a drained battery. You want to stay charged up. We're electrifying. We have that. It's innate. It's already in us. We are gods. And a lot of us just don't recognize it yet. So take care, y'all. And I hope you guys have a lovely day. And if you don't, well, at least you could find something that could give you some delight. All right. Take care, y'all. Peace.